Welcome to the Fight the Matrix show, hosted here by over at Liberty.me. Thank you so much for the opportunity here to allow us to present our the conversation that we have against the state, to talk about freedom, and most importantly, to share our hate for that tyranny. Today I have joined with me on this show guest Panxer. Panxer, we've done a lot of hate the state videos together. We've done a lot of spreading anarchy videos. It's a great enemy of the state and freedom fighter all around. Panxer, could you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people watching?
I am the lone anarchist in San Antonio, Texas. We went to VCU together. I basically just recently moved here from Richmond, Virginia, and had been with Kal on a number of different escapades, and now we're here. We're gonna expose the boot in the face, calling itself the state.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the weather down there in Texas?
Freaking hot, man. It's like, it's hot in Texas. They don't even know, man. It's like, I would compare this to like jungle heat. It's all humidity, man.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess before we go down to expressing the outlet of our hate for the state, let's talk about some interesting current events, as people have been seeing a lot of the Confederate flag issue, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Most people are kind of quick to forget that the first flag that advocated slavery before that was the United States flag.
Yeah, the Fugitive Slave Acts tend to just roll over the head.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they talk about tearing down monuments. They talk about tearing down rebel monuments, Confederate monuments. It's like, well, if you want to be consistent and universal, you should look around in Washington, D.C. to see all these monuments to tyrants. People who held slaves themselves, people who held racial hatred, like Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln himself, who advocated for shipping black people back to Africa.
Yep. Or would have if he said he could end the Civil War without ending slavery, he'd do it.
Right. Absolutely. That's something.
He waited till year 4 of the war to do anything to make the Emancipation Proclamation. If it was such a priority, why wasn't it done year 1? Or immediately after the declaration of war.
Right, and if it's something that you value and hold dearly, then I would imagine that you would first end slavery in your own, at home first, right? But that was not the case.
Nope.
Nope. So yeah, there's no Princess All for him. It's all about strategy for him. It's just trying to get more meat to the grind and just wearing down the South. But of course, accurately, it was a war between tax farmers of the North and South.
Well, even past that, during the rebuilding and the Reconstruction period, you had the Black Codes. You had Jim Crow. You had these were federally instituted basically racism and race motivated hatred and it's like, come on now. Well, we gave them their freedom, but damn it all, if they're going to use the same bathroom as me.
Right.
Come on. Seriously?
No, absolutely.
I know, right?
Yeah. So now you have, go ahead.
Oh, no, it took the National Guard to get a little girl into school in the 1950s. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's racial hatred. Like,
right.
That's been since the beginning, friend. Cheers.
Right. Racial segregation was something that the United States government created to begin with. Right.
Yep.
You can look at,
and the freaking the Supreme Court said it was legal.
Right. Even their own courts, even their own government, their own judges.
Right. Separate but equal. Yeah.
I think the last place you should be looking for help towards equality would be an organization that created the inequalities to begin with.
that requires having an equality.
Right. Yeah, you look at the history of the Marriage Act. It was to prevent interracial marriages, and that's government for you. And that's a lot of the plight that's going on today, right now, in terms of that. I guess you could also look at the other thing. I guess people are saying, like on Facebook, it's a war between the Confederacy and Skittles.
Yeah, right. Or the picture with the pyramids that says, "How long will we let these monuments to slavery stand? Tear them down." I mean, people spray painting Jefferson Davis's tomb in Richmond. I mean, like, what's?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's going very close to kind of like what they're doing in the Middle East and tearing down and breaking artifacts.
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't support government works, public works of art. Right. It's funded through extortion. I don't get to choose what kind of art is created that way. Right.
All right.
And but that being said, you can look at these as just artifacts, things that you could say do belong in a museum, or in a way to kind of reflect and see the history of statism. What happens to these monuments after the fall of tyranny? I guess they'll go to collectors. People want to appropriate that public land and homestead and take care of themselves. Go for it, but don't do it at my expense.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so that's the Confederacy. A lot of interesting stuff. You also have the marriage of
the marriage equality, permission to love somebody act, or the decision, the opinion. 9 psychopaths in black robes with magic hammers get to decide that people can love each other. Whoopee! You can get tax breaks. Good job.
Right. Yeah, without government, who would we beg permission from?
Right.
Be married?
And it really just boils down to probate, inheritance, and freaking the tax breaks. Ultimately, I mean, if you really wanted to get around it, just incorporate. Really, I mean, God, it's I don't know. It's just whatever. It's just rainbows everywhere. I'm cool.
Right. Yeah, it's a long time distraction because, of course, you look at people are trying to give credit to Obama. This guy made a statement not that long ago that he did not, it was between a man and a woman. He didn't hurt people outside of those who identify otherwise to get married. That's on camera. That's recorded. That's on video. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. And so it's interesting how fast, I guess you look at the values being pushed forward that anyone should be able to get married regardless of their gender, and Obama is quick to trying to jump on that bandwagon now, seeing that it's kind of inevitable.
Well, this is the United States of amnesia, man. Nobody has a memory past 15-second sound bites here in the U.S. But with regard to that, freaking like. While that was happening, and while the whole people were distracted, and we're watching C-SPAN just to see what's happening, they're passing the TPP like right now as we're talking. They're gonna get that going. It's like, and then afterwards, when we're left holding the bag, they're gonna be like, "What? You got gay marriage?" It's like,
so that satisfy you? Yeah. Legalization of cannabis, same thing. It's like throwing meat at a starving dog at this point. TPP, the Great Distraction, and I guess increasing the scope of IP terrorism, right, all over the world. Now they can get you kidnapped in your own tax farm across the country and bring you over for extradition to be thrown into a cage here at home, rather than one being thrown into at home.
The international. Yeah, that's going to be weird when that actually happens. Like China just comes and like grabs somebody off the West Coast and brings them to Beijing for trial for an IP violation. That's going to be interesting.
Right. Yeah.
It'll happen.
No, yeah. Absolutely. I guess speaking of places overseas, you have the fall of Greece currently occurring.
Cheers to that. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. It's inevitable. It's inevitable that these fiat currency, these monopolies of currency, reaches its true value, which is zero. What's happening?
Who's coming to fill the void? Bitcoin.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Large increase of demand for Bitcoin now over there overseas. Being it decentralized, there's no one place that you could stop and take it down. Right? There's no Bitcoin bank.
Right. That's great.
You have long waiting lines now outside of ATMs in Greece. Just people waiting, it's too late. There's
on a devalued currency. Like it reminds me of like bread lines in Soviet Union when it collapsed.
Right. You have literal bread lines in Venezuela now. Price control. It's hard to get diapers, toilet paper, bread now. Right. And whenever you have government control, it's like history's replete with these sort of examples. You look at Cyprus, their problem with the debt, government freezing everyone's savings and stealing half of that overnight, right? Should be no wonder what was next to come in Greece.
All right. I like that, like, when it happens, or like, why? But we're the government.
Right.
Why would they do that to us? It's like, come on, man. Government isn't eloquence. It isn't reason. It's force. It's like, come on, man.
Right. And now they have all these commies taking charge. They got fascism now back in place. Right. It's kind of weird that you have even historical examples where these have failed, yet that's where they kind of still turn to.
Yeah. Well, socialism has a built-in self-destruct mechanism, and it's the fact that it's just not voluntary. So you can have whatever propaganda long term. It's like the state can't drag the pot. You ever seen the tiny dot, the Larkin Rose, the tiny dot? Like, the tiny dot can't drag that big sea of dots, but only so long before it fails. You know what I mean? It's just it's not voluntary. You have to have some level of volition involved in order to do it. Like the Soviet Union. I mean, dude, they dug their own grave, just like we're doing now here. I mean, like the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto are already in the U.S. law. Like, dude, it's like George Carlin used to say, it's like this it's circling the drain.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of time at this point. It really just is. They're just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, eventually it will hit the U.S. as it's already has in many places, like Detroit. These Puerto Rico's next now. Can't pay off their debt, and eventually you'll have large metropolis cities here in the tax farm of the United States also falling away as well. So yeah, be prepared, act accordingly. Bitcoin's a great transition. Learn some real skills.
Well, the great thing that I like looking at this is like, okay, they're like, oh, their credit rating is getting degraded. It's like, okay, who's issuing the credit? The United States operates on credit. All the nations of the world operate on credit. Okay, who's issuing the credit? Nobody seems to be talking about that. Like, oh, we got to pay our debts to the EU. Okay, to whom specifically?
Right.
And they never name that. They never go, because that's who you go to. That's who's charging like what 3 times or 10 times whatever the fractional reserve currency, whatever. Where does that money go? Where does that tax payment go? Nobody's they're worried about ATMs. It's like, hello, these bankers are the money didn't exist in the first place. They just made it up out of thin air, and you're paying interest on just an imaginary thing. So, come on.
No, absolutely. It reminds me of this Onion video in which they were trying to resolve their debt crisis, and so they had to stage a revolution.
I know, right?
And then in their own in Congress, and everyone's pretending there's a firefight, and it's like, oh no, I guess we'll have to start all over again.
I know, right? Oh no, they're breaking the walls down. They're like hitting it with hammers and shit.
We have to call ourselves a new name, another country.
I know, right? Oh,
and that's why they think it's going to work over there in Greece, but that's the alternative that they believe that they have is to get out of the euro, but then I forgot what they call it, demarche, the kind of money currency that they have, but that's going to be just as worthless too. Coming out. So some people feel that the euro will shore it up, will grow a little stronger with Greece leaving, but inevitably the euro is going to follow the same way as well.
Well, I mean, they can only sell so much infrastructure in exchange for credit. Even the tax liability being funded through the individuals born and the future generations. I mean, that only goes so far. It's like eventually it gets like taffy. It's like thinner and thinner and thinner until it just freaking snaps. There's nothing. You can't, unfunded liabilities, is that what they called it?
Yeah. So these unsustainable monopolies.
Right.
So that's a good coverage of recent events. Want to go into hate the state?
Ooh, hate the state. I do hate the state. I do. Or rather, the individuals calling themselves the state.
Right.
It's just people. It's people with guns, with opinions, and the willingness to kill you for not going along with their illusion of authority. So, why don't you start us off, man?
All right. So, first one we have up is body cam video shows jail beating in Federal Heights. This will go to show that these body cams are not the salvation devices that a lot of people think are going to prevent.
Wasn't that the argument? Like, body cameras will deter cops from They had all the talking heads on like CNN and MSNBC and all those guys going, if you have body cams, they won't kill people. They won't beat them up. There's already like at least hundreds of videos on YouTube of cops murdering people with their cams on. Like what was the one was it Arizona or was it New Mexico where the guy was coming out of the 7-Eleven and the cop just started opening fire? He had his hands in his pockets, he had his earbuds in, and him twice. And then it's like, stay with me, as he's like bleeding out. Yeah,
that's what they have to say to make it look like they're innocent. As long as that the audio is recorded, I guess they think that they can kind of get away with it. Yeah, body cams. You're advocating for the prison guards to treat you nicer, or to record the actions of violence that they'll commit against peaceful people. They're still, that doesn't take away those violent actions. It just makes it in an area in which they would want to hide better, right? It's not all of a sudden they're wearing body cams so they can't turn it off.
I think I can hear Jeremy Bentham's corpse fapping somewhere. This freaking, God. The ends are worth the means. It's like it's not, the means aren't even producing the ends that you want. Come on.
Right.
So what does the guy do?
Federal Heights. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Police extortionist Mark Magnus. He was caught on wearing the body cam, beating a man to a bloody pulp while he was handcuffed.
Second offense too. He broke another dude's arm in 2009.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's done before. In 2009, he was convicted of a misdemeanor assault when he broke the arm of a peaceful person. He was never fired after that, though, of course. Right, and then 6 years later, he's at it again.
Yep.
So it's interesting because as you watch the video, I mean, this guy is torturing, brutalizing this man who's already handcuffed, who's already been put to his place by this police extortionist. Put him into a chair, gouging out his eyes, pressure points behind the ears, and of course, while he's brutalizing and torturing this young man, he's yelling, "Stop resisting!"
Yeah, and his buddies are like, "Hey, man, you're filming this." And it's like, come on, man.
Right. This is that's their cue. They try to protect one another from getting caught.
Right. And even if they get caught, it's like, oh, we'll just judge ourselves in our own case.
Right. Yeah, that's what happened. June 17th, he pleaded guilty to attempted third-degree assault. It's weird that attempted. That is assault. That's beating the bloody hell out of a peaceful person who's already incapacitated.
Well, he'll probably bring a civil suit and he'll probably win. But the problem is anything he wins doesn't come out of the officer's pocket. It comes out of yours and mine and everyone else.
Right.
In the form of just taxes. They're like, okay, he won $3 million. Okay, well that came out of tax money. From you and me.
Yeah, you sue a business. They have a lot of insurance. They hold the liability of those actions. They don't put the costs of what they've done to people to other ones to feel those costs. And that's the weird part about taking these sociopaths to court. It's not their paycheck. It's not from them that you're taking, because their money to begin with was already taken from other people.
Right. Well, and the defendant works for the state. The judge works for the state. Like it's like even if you bring a case in federal court, you got a federal judge who used to be a prosecutor is going to hear a case about a cop who's got his defense is going to be from the state. So it's like, come on now. Even if a jury awards in a civil thing, it's absolutely pointless because the cop still's got his job. He's not getting anything taken out of his paycheck, and the money awarded to the guy, although well earned as it might be, just comes from the tax base.
Right.
So it's a complete and utter sham. There's no justice. It's just us.
Right. Yeah. And as of today, there's no report of this police extortionist being kicked out of the force or dismissed or fired or it's just a pat on the back. He probably just got a paid vacation.
Mm-hmm. So, which leads into our next story about domestic violence. Basically in New York, there's a report that was released recently that basically states that New York police, even those convicted of spousal abuse, very seldom, if ever, are dismissed or terminated from their positions. you have patterns of violence. I mean, multiple offenders in some cases. Basically, they've been compiling this. I think, what did it say? 5 years?
For quite some time.
Yeah, 468 cases over 5 years, and basically the stat they came up with was what was it?
1 in 4 women in the U.S. is a victim of domestic violence. Those numbers jumped into 1 in 2 if they're married to a cop.
Right. Man. And their quote-unquote punishment that they get, they're either getting suspension, paid suspension, which is, administrative leave, or they're getting probation, which means they're being watched. That's it.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah.
And then, dismissal is like less than 34 out of those, 400 or 500 cases. So it's like, come on now. Oh, and then they did a smaller study in Los Angeles concurrently, and they found that similar stats there as well. So you have people that are violent in nature go home, beat their wives, and they get convicted for it and keep their jobs. So
a majority were.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a majority were found guilty and of those crimes, and of course a majority were just given paid vacation. 50 were given retirement.
Right.
So you have the options, it's weird how they have, when you commit a crime as a cop, as a police extortionist, when it's too much that they have to throw you under the bus, you're given the option to, I'm just going to retire, right? I'm just going to
resign, and you're going to get your full benefits package.
Right. It's so,
you and me and everyone else.
Right. It's like if you worked at McDonald's and you assaulted someone, can you go like, well, it's fine, I'm going to resign my position. I'm turning in my cap, turning in the apron. Man. It's all right.
You got to make that video, Cal. You need to make that video. Like cop life versus real life.
Right. This shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people. You're dealing with violent sociopaths, people who the very nature of the work is coercing their interactions onto other people.
Oh, come on, Cal. They're heroes, every single one of them. Just read their own testimonials. We risk our lives on the street every day.
Absolutely.
By violently interjecting themselves into violent situations. It's like, oh my God.
Double the natural average rate. Police extortionists beat their wives and girlfriends. Shouldn't come to a surprise. They beat peaceful people all the time. The next story we have goes more into that. You have a SWAT team raids the wrong home. They broke the windows, and then they issued the family citations for said broken windows.
Right. Well, now government, who would break our windows?
Right.
They charge us for it.
Right. Hey, that provided a job for the person to come by and give them that citation. Right.
I know, right.
It provided a job for more extortionists. They also have family and children to feed.
Yeah, well, they'll probably get it dismissed in court, but the problem is they have to go to the court in the first place. They're sapping productive energy and money away from this family. They've already traumatized them, broke their windows, gave them a citation, drug them to court, and then they're going to be like, well, just case dismissed. It's like, ah! Oh, by the way, you got to pay some court fees.
Right. This happened in St. Louis, Missouri. Leon Walker and his family were having dinner together, and when all of a sudden flashbang grenades just came flying to their house, everything started exploding. Door was kicked out. People dressed in black came in with their guns and pointing right at him and his family. And apparently they were looking for someone else who was probably distributing, trading cannabis or something. He lived 2 doors down, so it wasn't. They were at the wrong house. And it tends to be sometimes when they realize they're at the wrong house, they have to find a way to justify it.
Right. And they got to play it 100%, even if they're blatantly in the wrong. Yep. And then another, same situation, freaking civil suit, liability award, tax money, nobody wins.
Right. Wins. So the fucked up part was this, that they sent a building inspector right after they destroyed their home to say, yeah, that's a code violation right there.
Oh, God.
I guess they have to try to, I guess maybe they're trying to say, well, maybe you guys did that before we came into place, before we raided your home.
And of course, the burden of proof is on the person with the broken window, the home that they smashed the door in and traumatized the kids and flashbanged the dog and maybe even shot the dog. Yeah, the burden of proof is on them to prove that the windows were broken after the fact.
Right.
So if they got to come up with some kind of freaking family photo where the window in the background is in one piece, taken on that day with a newspaper right next to their head with today's date on it. Yeah.
The Broken Window Squad is who they sent out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, you got a code violation for broken windows. We'll say that they don't have the money to fix that right away, or maybe their home insurance won't cover it. Okay, so what's going to happen is then after the code violation happens, the code enforcement comes up and then puts a lien against their house, and if they don't pay, it just escalates, and eventually they lose their home, they're on the street. All because freaking Google Maps messed up.
Right. And then those fees start to add up every day. Eventually they become too financially. Yeah, they compound interest, and then you can't even afford those fees. And then that's when they come and take your house. This happened to a lady here in Richmond. There was a freak bus accident, crashed into her home, and building inspectors came in the very next day and started giving her citations for something that she didn't cause, something that she didn't have no responsibility for. And first thing the government does, instead of trying to help you out, is trying to find ways to extort you.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like what is that? The civil forfeiture. That stuff is amazing. Oh, you have $5,000 of cash in your car. It's drug related. Why? Because you have green seat covers, and that is marijuana related. It is paraphernalia, and it now belongs to us. Good luck getting that back.
Right.
They do that every day. Somewhere in America, every day, somebody's getting screwed out of their money to fund this stupid drug war. Don't start me. I gotta have beer just to calm me down, Cal. Thank you.
So what's up next?
Oh, we got the the guy that waved the California Highway Patrol down and got shot in the head and then cuffed after that. I know, right? Okay, so Los Angeles, California. Let's see, around 6:35 p.m. The date is listed as 20 June, but I don't think that's accurate. Let's see, a man standing by the side of the road attempting to flag down the officers on patrol by waving his arms, one-armed wrapped in a towel, while calling out, "Police! Police!" Exiting his patrol car, one officer yelled to the man, "Drop the gun!" And although the man who has yet to be publicly named was unarmed, maybe he was just trying to wave him down with a towel. I don't know. At least one of the two officers then shot the man, like headshot. It was. Have you seen the video, Cal?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's pretty barbaric.
Man, the link is on Free Thought Project. Just go to Free Thought Project, click on the link for police brutality, scroll down, it'll be there. It is graphic. This guy's got literally has the back of his head blown out, and they have him on the ground cuffing him, after the fact.
Right. Well, they're trying. Yeah, they're trying to cover it up immediately. They're trying to, because people are going to be looking at this stuff, and so very quickly, if you place someone in handcuffs, you automatically assume they did something wrong, right? Yeah. It's the same way why you would have people in handcuffs when you go to court, and especially there's a jury trial, you already create this notion in the air for that this person's already a bad guy. So of course, if you're a police extortion, the first thing you want to do, even if you shot him, even though he's not, he's motionless and there's no sign of life, is quickly handcuff him. So it doesn't look like you're standing over a body that you just murdered for witnesses to see.
Yeah, I wonder what the oh shit factor is with that, with the. They're laughing about the, around the cooler. They're like, man, I shot that guy right in the head. I made a canoe out of him. And then it shows up on YouTube, and they're like, gasp. What the, because then they got to answer for it.
Right.
There's commissions, and there's the internet, and it's just like, come on now. Why'd you do it, Smokey the Bear? Why'd you shoot him in the face?
Right.
For the crime of waving a towel.
Joshua Cocker in the chat room says, it's standard procedure. But yeah, Commander Under-Chief of the department, he said that we always do that. And that's policy, to handcuff someone in a situation like that. Situation in which you murder someone who's unarmed, who's trying to get your attention, who obviously looks in distress or might need some kind of emergency help. There's a lot of people who get stranded off the side of the road. A lot of people who are looking, who are thinking that these police extortionists are out to help them. Not realizing that any call or motion to try to get their attention, it's essentially a murder call. Those police boxes that they have around the city, they're murder boxes. Anytime you call their attention or call the cops on someone, there's the likelihood that someone's about to get murdered, yep, or their dog is about to get shot.
Dial 911 and die. Yep. God, standard procedure. What part of head canoe didn't get communicated?
Right. Yeah, and that's standard procedure for them. Yeah, to handcuff the dead in the event that I guess they're quickly wanting to see very quickly to justify that perhaps he maybe had a weapon. As most cases, it seems like they don't. And we'll go over some interesting statistics of private crimes versus police extortionist crimes soon.
Right. Yeah, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, so we have cops refuse to stop chase plowing over multiple children, killing them during neighborhood pursuits.
Oh, yeah.
So you have something that happened in Detroit, a place where you have the police extortionists take over an hour to respond to 911 calls. And there's a high-speed chase in a busy neighborhood. Resulted in 2 small children being killed. Several others injured along the way. And
heroes.
Yeah.
Hero cops.
Yeah. The cause of the police chase. I remember I have criminal justice classes. We're always trying to draw in the scenarios like what do you do about police pursuits? Do you continue to here's the scenario. How would you respond to that? So you not have police chases, since invariably they do. Many innocent people could end up being hurt and instigating that kind of chase. Or do you just go on a twisted metal rampage across these neighborhoods, as the police extortionists have incited, to catch someone involved in that? I believe they made eye contact. The person was suspected of a parole violation, and that was enough for the police extortionists to chase after him. And of course, as most people would, run or drive away as fast as they can from these clown violent sociopaths who have every intention to murder them.
Well, and even just logically, with a little bit of police work, all right. Let's say you even instigate the chase. Okay, you start the chase. If you have a dash cam that has the photograph, or you have a license plate scanner that has the license plate on there, that has a registered address, it's like, even if the dude runs, right? Why? Fine, he runs. You can track him down. You have that ability. You can get a warrant. You can get yourself a whole SWAT team and go meet him someplace else, so you don't have to go driving through town murdering children.
Right.
Just a thought. I mean, it's like, okay, you have a shark swimming through the seas, and everybody's terrified. Okay, what's worse than one shark swimming through the water terrifying everybody? 5 sharks swimming through the water terrifying everybody. I mean, dude, it's like, what was that whole show, Cops? That was nothing but freaking police chases and everything like that. It was America's funniest police chases or whatever. They got videos for this. It's like, dude, it's nothing but mayhem, property destruction, and oftentimes murder.
Right.
I mean, there's that famous one where they finally at the end of the chase, and the truck rolls over a bunch of times, and the dude is thrown from the vehicle, and the cops leap from their cars to beat a corpse. You've seen that one, right?
Yeah. No, that's when you have these vocations of hurting peaceful people, you have no liability for your actions. Very easy to hide your actions. You feel like you're in an Iron Man suit, and you can go ahead and just blow the world away.
Yeah,
and
no duty to protect.
Right. No duty to protection. Yeah, absolutely. That's something a lot of people don't know, that even government courts have ruled that the police have no constitutional duty or obligation to protect your life, liberty, or property. Doesn't exist.
Right.
It's interesting. So the response that they have in regards to pursuits for that department, they have members involved in a pursuit must question whether the seriousness of the violation warrants continuation of the pursuit. A pursuit shall be discontinued when, in the judgment of the primary unit, there is a clear and present danger to the public which outweighs the need for immediate apprehension of the violator. Apparently there was no immediate outweighing that decision of clear and present danger. The guy was just, it was just rolling through. They made eye contact and chase began.
Yeah.
Officers must keep in mind that a vehicle pursuit has the same potential for serious injury or death as the use of fatal force. This is the hilarious part that they have. Officers must place the protection of human life above all other considerations. Bullshit.
Their human lives.
Their human lives.
Yeah, right. Protect and serve. Whom specifically? You know. But also, do you remember a few months back, maybe even a year ago, there was a Canadian situation similar to where there was a high-speed police chase in a residential neighborhood, and a couple was walking their carriage across the street, and the cop freaking, like, basically murders a baby with the freaking squad car. It was like, come on. There was no, I'm sure there was a settlement or whatever, but I mean, it was like the cop still has his job. It's like he is a literal, factual baby killer, and he's still out there on the streets.
No, I remember covering the story. They threw a flash grenade into a baby's crib, tore that kid's face apart, and that was that for them.
Well, and the federal court said that it's the baby's fault for being near the grenade.
Yeah, it was your fault for being there in the first place, for being in your crib, for thinking that you were safe and protected here by by the government. Or you should have known better.
Oh man, I can't take it, Cal. What do we got left? Come on.
All right, so we have a 88-year-old woman defends home from cops who went to wrong house. So she was assaulted and arrested, and this happened in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And police extortionists in that city, they didn't know their mistake in picking the wrong house, and they attacked, they assaulted this 88-year-old Phyllis Stankiewicz, I guess looks like a Polish last name. They're responding to a report of disturbance of someone wielding a baseball bat at that address, when actually it was a location a block away.
Excuse
and
me.
Of course, yeah, which is always the case.
Terrorists. 80-year-old terrorists.
When you're not a consumer-driven organization, you really don't need to have the details down.
Right.
You really don't need to excel. There's no need for quality. You know, you're protected by the law, by judges, by state prosecutors, anyways. So the police extortionist reported that when she opened the door, she was holding a knife, and an apparent attempt to defend herself, you know, from these would-be burglars, would-be thieves. Would-be extortionists. No, they are extortionists.
Yeah, they don't have castle doctrine in Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Well, even the Supreme Court has said that it's lawful to defend yourself, even if on a mistaken police raid. So if you so say at the Supreme Court for whatever that's worth. But if you shoot a cop for breaking into your house, the wrong house, technically you're in the right. Technically, legally, but that doesn't mean anything, really.
Right. And as a response to these uninvited guests trespassing in our home, she slapped one of them, and she was quickly kidnapped and sent to jail.
Assault.
Assault and battery. She pleaded not guilty. Good for her. But of course, that's going to take time out of her hands. She's got to lawyer up. Should be easy.
She's probably on a fixed income. She's probably living on Social Security. She doesn't have the room to fight this.
Yeah. So that's what you have. If you try to defend yourself, they'll throw you into a cage.
Right.
And it's
stop resisting.
Right. That's usually seems to be standard procedures. Like, look, we know we fucked up, but if we don't throw her in a cage and charge her, she may have grounds for a lawsuit or something.
Right.
We should at very least take her to court, because perhaps we could settle outside of court and have her drop the charges or let it go altogether. You let go of the charges of trying to sue us, we'll drop the assault and battery. Right.
Or just try to draw out of the court proceedings until she dies.
Right. Right. So next one we have up. 2014, police killed nearly twice as many Americans than mass shooters combined since 1982.
Yeah, but they have badges and guns and the illusion of authority, so it's okay. It's okay that they've done that.
Right.
Uh,
The number of peaceful people, the number of people that the police extortionists have murdered this year alone, as of June 22nd, 533.
yep.
That number is set to increase by one on average every 8 hours.
Yep, and it's climbing. It's getting bigger every day.
Yeah. Last year, police extortionists murdered 1,100 people. That's in 1 year. That's 2014.
Right. But remember, don't drive and text.
Right.
Or we will pull you over, and then if you don't stop, we will murder you.
Right. Yeah. Talk about mass shootings. People are so concerned about one individual murdering several people. Let's look at the organization that outnumbers that. But like in 2014 alone, cops murdered double the amount of people killed in all U.S. mass shootings in the last 30 years.
Or mass shootings. Remember that shooting? What was it? It was either Georgia, where the cops dumped 138 bullets into a car. Just one, just like 138 bullets. So okay, if you got flashing lights and a badge, and a hard will to freaking enforce your freaking opinion on someone, okay, fine. That's government, right? But then if you're just a guy who's disgruntled who goes off with a shotgun and does the same freaking thing, then you're it's like you need more government to take away our guns. It's like, come on now. Where's the logic, man? Where is it? Where's the reason?
Right. So we're going to go over one more story here, and then we're going to go give some kind tips how to protect yourself from police extortionists encounters, how to survive such encounters. I think that's very
cops ever.
Yeah. So you have sheriff tells family he's sorry after police extortionists starved their mentally ill son to death.
Good.
This occurred in Island County, Washington. Keaton Forrest, 25, was accused of trying to cash a $355 check that wasn't written out to him. This guy didn't have no prior criminal record. He has a history of struggling with mental illness. And after failing to appear for his court date, he was kidnapped on March 20th. And after that, 20 days after being taken into custody, after being kidnapped, he was found dead in his cell.
He was it was in solitary. Did it specify that? I don't remember.
Yeah, they I believe, I don't know if he was in solitary. He was making a lot of motions trying to get medical help because of his situation that he had. He also experienced a lot of they tased him, they just brutalized him again, and after trying to flood his cell by placing a pillow into the toilet, they just turned off the water. And usually they're supposed to have periodic checks, like I believe every hour or so, and they lie. They say, yeah, we did that. We checked.
They just pencil with the log and got it done.
Yeah. Just initial right there. They do that all the time. And of course, according to the surveillance footage, they never did check on him. And so he died. He dehydration. Yep. He starved. And so the sheriff says, "I'm truly sorry for this tragic death. Our highest priority is the safety and well-being of our inmates and staff." And this report describes a systematic breakdown of policies, procedures, and communications that led to this tragedy. What breakdown? You're there to hurt people. You're there to hurt peaceful people. You're there to throw people into cages for victimless crimes. What breakdown of the communication? You did exactly what you're supposed to do.
Oh, and no liability incurred either. We were doing our jobs. We were just doing our jobs.
Right. So no one's being held responsible for his death. No one at the jail was held criminally responsible.
And the cost of the funeral is going to be put to the family, I'm sure.
Absolutely. The chief himself, he was just suspended for 30 days without pay. Lieutenant was placed on paid leave. 2 correctional duties resigned after putting on leave. and
Designed and immediately replaced with more willing participants
take their
do the
place.
same thing, right?
Right. To fill in the void left by other violent sociopaths. They'll line up by the numbers. You don't need the smartest and brightest to be a police extortionist or to work in the criminal justice field.
Yeah. Well, the Supreme Court's even said that governments can discriminate against intelligent people from becoming police officers.
Yeah,
If you're too smart, they can just say no, you're too smart. Sorry.
absolutely. So, what helpful suggestions, strategies do you recommend, Panxer, and for people involved in police encounters with violent sociopaths?
Well, I'd recommend getting into some martial arts. First off, just to deal with fear, to learn what violence looks like, even in a safe and training environment. Basically, what you have when you're faced with armed thugs who can put you in a cage and take everything you own away from you, is you have fear. You have biological fear, and learning to deal with that in a very real and meaningful way is, I would say, paramount above any kind of procedural thing that you can do. If you can remain calm and collected in a situation where there are people with guns around you, you're ahead of the game. That'd be my first number one. What do you got, Kal?
No, I think that's a great one, especially when you're in court. I think a lot of the uncomfortability of that comes from it is an alien world. It is an alien environment. These are not your normal interactions you have with real peaceful people. You have a moment here in which they could take your life very well. They could lie about the charges. They could murder you. And so, yeah, remaining calm, being collective, it's very important. I guess from my understanding, for choosing the security forces field in the military was also helped me understand that. So I guess when I was a kid, never understood why there's so much fear of the police here in the United States. In Bolivia, it's always the police versus the military. So I guess gives you a good understanding of the position and that there's nothing to underestimate or overestimate of that. Yeah, I think you have an interesting, good martial arts recommendation, Sistema.
That's Sistema, yeah, Russian martial art. They deal with a lot of that. Aikido is also another good one. Just anything that deals with high physical, emotional stress. It could be something other than martial arts. It could be, just role playing, just to get yourself in a situation where, hey boy, what are you doing? Why are you here? What's your name? Give me your ID. Just role play so that you can familiarize yourself with the kind of tactics and the kind of situation that you're going to be put in. They might try officer friendly. They might try the good cop, bad cop. Just familiarize yourselves with these kinds of situations.
Right. Number one. I guess something to add is I have this. I don't know. There's a lot of information that's sometimes out there on how to deal and confront with these. One thing that always irks me are the know your rights cards. It's like you don't have any rights.
No, there's no such thing as rights. The legal definition of a right is an ownership claim, and whoever makes the claim bears the burden of proof. So don't put the burden of proof on yourself. Don't say your rights have been violated. Just go just go with the factual nature of the matter. Okay. So I guess we're segueing into the right to remain silent, or the right, what they call rights.
Well, yeah, what they tell you, yeah.
Well, the Constitution and the Supreme Court says that you don't have rights under the Constitution. You're not entitled to protection under it. You're not entitled to any of that. And you can research it. I invite you to do so. You might learn something and teach me something. But basically, the right to remain silent. The Supreme Court has even denied that. The right against searches and seizures. We've violently given that away. Please just take our, whatever. So anyway, you don't have any constitutional rights. You don't have the right to remain silent. You have the right to searches and seizures. So basically, all you have is the ability to shut up. Don't answer questions. Be polite, be respectful, because you're dealing with somebody with a gun, with the emotional coping skills of about a 5-year-old. So just, sir, I'm sorry at this point. I can't answer any questions. Sorry, my attorney, here's his card, or or if Mark Stevens or somebody like that, here's his card. He's told me never to speak to the police under any circumstances. Please inform me when I'm free to go. Or am I being suspected of a crime? Am I, what specific crime? Ask specific questions. Pull out your camera. Have that handy. Even if you don't like my recommendation is don't actually hold it to the cop. Don't be threatening about it. Just have it passively. Both hands on your chest with your camera facing out, and just record the conversation. He can see your hands. You're not a threat. And it's just an easy, simple way to A, record, and B, have your hands so he knows that you're not reaching for a weapon.
Right. No, I think that's great. Yeah, I find Joshua mentions that you have the rights the cop grants you at their discretion when they feel like it. If you want to say at any time though, they can turn off that body cam at any time. You have the right. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but they'll find a lot of sneaky ways to go around that. They'll go find a lot of different ways to search your property. No knock warrants. There's a lot of this stuff. There's a Baltimore cop who's fine talking about the truth and saying how many thousands of people that they search without warrants. There's only rights when they feel like it. I think that the passing out literature telling you that you have rights is misleading. The only right you have under the Constitution is the right to believe in the illusion that you're free, and that's it. Telling other people otherwise that you have rights is misleading, and I think it's very dangerous to make people believe that the government here is to protect those rights. The government's here to secure that. When time and time again evidence points otherwise. Yeah.
Show me 4 pieces of paper that'll stop a tyrannical government, and I'll show you a T-shirt that stops a rapist.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we're tax slaves. Tax slaves have no rights but to continue to produce, to be extorted, to be murdered at the whim of your masters. Yeah. And that's it. All right. So here's the scenario. You're at home, PlayStation. You're there with your friends, and you hear a knock on the door. Police extortionist. Right here.
Okay. First of all, remember to breathe. Seriously. People will when panicked or anything like this, and this happened to me right before I moved to Texas. Like some intrepid member of the Richmond constabulary decided that I sold one of my bicycles because I didn't want to move it, and he thought that I was selling stolen merchandise on Craigslist. So I had to. This guy's like, Mr. Weatherford, we need to talk. Like, okay, what are we talking about? First of all, you are under absolutely no responsibility to answer your door. That's the first thing. Keep it locked, deadbolted, multiple locks on multiple doors. You have no compulsion to answer your door. But if you do answer your door, and stop them in the middle of the conversation, they're like, we need to talk about this matter, blah blah blah. Just go, I'm sorry, hold on, stop, please. What is this about? And have them explain it. And then, based on that, you can then decide, I'm sorry, I don't answer questions. And then they're going to be like, they're going to be like, well, why won't you answer questions? I'm sorry, I don't answer questions. Is there anyone at home who does answer questions? I'm sorry, I don't answer questions. And you shut the door, and you lock it. That's it. That's my suggestion. I mean, but unless they show up with a SWAT team and a flashbang, I mean, that's how I'd do it.
Right.
Just don't answer the door.
Don't answer the door. Look to the peephole. Oh shit! Well, you don't have to answer it, right? Mm-hmm. If they want you, they'll knock that door down.
Yeah, they will.
Right. If they ask, can we come in? Do not let them in on any reason.
Or we're doing a health and safety check. Do you mind if we come in? Yes, I mind. Close the door. Shut it. That's it.
That's all you have to say. There was a guy here in Richmond sitting in his car outside of a hotel, just eating a McMuffin, I think. There's a cop repeatedly just knocking on his window for like 10 minutes trying to get his attention. The guy's just recording it's him eating and saying, "Look at this guy. He's got there's nothing he can do." And the guy's just I guess profiling and seeing that perhaps he doesn't belong here, but of course looking for an excuse to kidnap and arrest him. They'll continue to annoy you. They'll continue to try to find an excuse to kidnap you. They need to fill those quotas, and the best thing you can do is just to ignore them. Don't answer that door. Don't engage in that kind of conversation. You don't have to open the door, like you said. Never invite them in. When you invite them in, they're constantly scanning for a
Right.
reason to to give you an extortion fee or to
Yeah,
kidnap you.
and there's thousands, literally thousands of code violations that they could just write you up for. You
Right.
know, the people that write the laws don't even know how many laws there are. You know, you can just make something up.
Right. Don't fall for that smiling grin. Don't fall for the nice guy cop. He's like they're there to hurt you. They're there to hurt peaceful people.
Everything you say can and will be used against you.
That's their
Shut up.
vocation.
Shut up. Yeah, shut up. You know.
Right. What about I guess in most encounters, most people would have vehicle stops. Um, that's always I guess always make sure your lights are working.
Oh yeah, do walk around in your car before you go. Well, there's a guy in Florida who wrote a book about DUI checkpoints, and he's got the thing where you put the license and registration and proof of insurance on the window, and then you have written no searches. I remain silent. He's got the base, the thing like basically so you don't have to crack your window and the officer says I smell booze. You know what I mean? Like you basically just present him with the information that you're required to give him, and then there at that point, you don't roll your window down, you don't say anything, you just show the piece of paper on the window. That's an idea. I don't know.
I like that. Yeah, yeah. Always record those encounters.
Yes, recording. There's awesome apps out there. I use 5.0 and with Dropbox. So your phone while it's recording is transmitting to the interwebs or the cloud rather, so that even if the cop snatches your phone and takes it and smashes it, yeah, that video of him doing that is on the internet, and he can't take it down. He can't destroy the evidence.
Right. Waze is a good app too to see where your local road pirates are hiding.
Waze is amazing.
Yeah.
Love Waze. Well, even the LA cops are like, but Waze is putting officers in danger. It's like, come on, man. It's like, dude, it's like there are not roving hit squads going after cops. Okay, there are a few unsettled individuals who murdered some cops in New York, and they're human beings, and their loss of life is a tragedy. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes, carry a gun. Those who carry swords will probably die by them. Sorry. That's just a matter of fact. Waze is awesome. It's an open source freaking way to get around that kind of thing, and it's publicly supported. It's voluntary. It's everything we want. That's what the free market produces. Is these kinds of solutions to predatory practices by these individuals.
Greg Howitt calls them says treat them like vampires.
Yeah, right. Treat them like vampires. Exactly.
Joshua Kirsten says he was a good cop. Do you think there's a such thing as a good police extortionist?
I'll go to that argument that one gentleman made. The one where it says laws. Let's see. What is it? Cops are hired to enforce laws. There are laws that are unjust and criminal, or what was the one where he said like basically it was cops are hired to enforce laws. There are bad laws. Cops must enforce those. Hence, there are no good cops. The only good cop is a quick cop.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, or who goes private security.
Exactly. To redeem yourself for the years you've been involved in hurting the lives of peaceful people, even writing them extortion fines for forcing people to go out of to waste their time, to waste their money, go into court, putting in uncomfortable positions that they never wanted to be in to begin with. Right? Mm-hmm. That's a lot of ruination that you've caused.
And you bring up an interesting point, Cal, with regard to ruination and everything. When you suffer damage at the hands of the state, and let's say you're damaged, right? States are a corporation like anything else. They define themselves as corporations. They're municipal corporations, what have you. They have risk management. They insure themselves. Okay, so even if you lose in court, even if say you're damaged and you lose a civil suit, or charges are dismissed, you bring a civil suit, you lose, you can basically file a claim against the state's or the municipality's insurance. And what that does is it doesn't necessarily grant you money, But what it will do is it will put like an insurance ding, you know, kind of like when you get in an accident, on that individual. So they, you know, like when somebody is like in the military, you know, like when you can't get a security clearance, you can't have certain jobs. Well, it's similar in the corporate, municipal corporate sense, in that if somebody has so many dings on their jacket for you know, violence or whatever, they're considered an uninsurable. And at that point, they can't be promoted. If they're not, you know, they might be fired. You know, it basically is a roundabout way to mitigate some of this violence. You can do it against any state, and judges can't claim judicial immunity from it. So it's an option. Just like if a judge that continually, you know, puts people away for stupid stuff, if people start filing insurance claims against this guy, chances are he's not going to go to a higher court. Chances are he's going to be stuck in general circuit or traffic, you know, and he'll do 7 or 8 years, get burned out, and leave, you know, or they'll fire him because he can't, you know, he's uninsurable because they know he's a liability.
Right.
So that's another option. You know, that's not legal per se, but you know, it is a way, is a method.
Right. All right, so we're coming up for the last 30 seconds here. You have any last words you want to say about the state or freedom, tyranny?
You know, just because you capitulate doesn't mean you consent. I guess that's my thing. It's like, you know, when anarchists say that oh, you don't live your values, it's like, well, I'm sorry, I have a gun to my head. What do you want me to do? So that's my thing. And fight the state any way you can, because they will fight you any way they can.
Absolutely. Anarchy is a way of life. You know, it's a war that we're underneath right now. It's where we have to fight back in any way we can. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Panxer, for joining us for the Fight the Matrix episode for this segment of Hate the State. It's always great discussing these issues with you, man.
Oh yeah, thanks, man.
So with that, thank you everyone for enjoying the show. If you have any topic suggestions for next month, let us know. We also are hosting our first Freedom Festival in August, Anarchon, which is from the 21st to the 23rd, located in Winchester, Virginia, at the Cove. There's also a firearm range there, so we can practice our art of self-defense. And with that, thank you so much for participating and supporting the show. With that, we'll see you at the Victory Party. Take good care.